I hear that MK1 has been looking for a new star.
And it seems like they're still looking. Travel trouble for two of MK1's, star prospects, Fortier and Special Tay. Special Tay always been troubled off the track, but Scott, what do you think of the implications of this suspension, both for the standings and I guess for the reputation of the league and the racers in general?
I think it was kind of the last thing MK1 needed was, they obviously have this new rival with MKS, and they're putting on this big, extravagant opening weekend on 9/11. You got Mr. Kid Rock playing, and all of a sudden you have two racers who don't show up, and you have to bring in this Dolph kid.
Who embarrasses the league, to be quite honest.
Yeah, this team money relative, and it's like, man, I mean, I think it's kind of two different situations. You got Special Tay, who's, he's committed. He's kind of a veteran of this league, but, he is a pathological liar. You never know what's actually happening with him. He's everywhere all at once. He's kind of like a dog chasing cars. I don't know if he knows what's coming. And then you got, this new racer, Forche, and, with that announcement, he introduced himself to the league like, I'm the new star. I'm here. 3 stars move over. And then, I understand he missed his flight for the first weekend. And it's kind of like, what's going on?
Yeah, and I think that the surprising thing is, a statement like that, you think that this guy is committed to racing. He's going to be devoted from day one. And you got every other racer. They're in New York. They're days ahead. I mean, they're rubbing elbows with Kid Rock and Jeff Dunham. So, I mean, a pretty good perk for going. But meanwhile, he's over in Italy, misses his flight at the last minute. And it's not great to be posting pictures on Instagram after the league disciplines you, with beautiful models, drinking champagne on yachts and just saying, next one, better luck next time to himself. So I don't know. There's a lot going on there that's pretty confusing to see from somebody who made such a bold statement early on in the season.
Yeah, I mean, you think, I don't even know if SB would say something like that. And, he's a legitimate star. So it's stunning stuff. And you got to ask, did he paint, a bullseye on his back, both from the other racers and from, media members like you and me, Mike? Because, we're committed to our craft. We're in this studio at least 3 hours a week, and we are, we're taking those flights to Saudi, to Tampa, back and forth. You're drying, you're getting wet, dry, wet, and it's, we haven't missed one of those flights yet. So
no, definitely not.
It's, it's, I don't know. I mean, MK1, it's just like I said, to maybe they need to write in the contract something to do with, maybe they got to get these guys. These guys can't, have flights on their own.
Got to book an entire thing.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they might have to take a bus. I don't know, but
it might be tough.
It's are guns allowed on bus? I think anything's allowed on a bus, but
yeah, you could. I mean, it's a bit of a gray area, but I mean, they're not going to check anything. I know the Special Tay. He has a lot to say. I mean, let's dive into Special Tay for a second, because I mean, Forche, I guess we'll see when he gets back on the track and when he finally commits what he actually is. Maybe that statement makes a lot of sense, and this is just a simple misunderstanding. But when we're looking at Special Tay, there's all the talent in the world there, but there's something going on between those ears that I just don't trust.
I mean, it's the lying, right?
Yeah.
He's got to stop lying off the track if he wants to perform on it. And, I think this kind of brings back, those memories about those stories with Gab Gab. And I think we painted Gab Gab maybe a little too early because we believe Special Tay.
Yeah, it was all over the headlines. So, I mean, we're not going to dive into that.
As time's going on, Gab Gab kind of was, an innocent victim to Special Tay's line. But I don't know. It's not the start you wanted to see, and it just wreaks havoc for the standings because then you got this Dolph kid coming in.
Unbelievable.
And, making MK1 look bad.
Yeah, and I mean, we're going to talk about that later on, but I just think that, Special Tay, just the logic in his head, he's talking about Asia as a country. He seems to think that the Queen was around during the revolution and they asked her to leave. She just died. So I think his understanding of the Constitution, I remember, talking to him and, we talked on the phone before this and I was asking, what's going through your head bringing a gun on a plane? He says, well, the plane's not leaving America. The Constitution still applies. America extends, to the heavens, he said. So Just really not a great move, and really tough to do. Put TSA in that position on 9/11, or I guess the day before 9/11 of all days. So it's just something that there's just not the thought process for him. But it's incredible to see these racers get suspended because you and I, we've done quite a bit, and we've never got a suspension from old Bob Iger when he was still managing Disney or whoever the hell. They don't talk to us anymore, but I don't know who's running Disney now, but we've never got a suspension, and you have to do quite a bit to get a suspension, it seems.
Yeah, it's we're trying to find that. We're working, and we still haven't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm reflecting on old Bob Iger and our time there, and I remember a number of times that we messed up and were called into the offices, and thinking about it now and thinking about how Bob hasn't really kept in contact with me. It feels a bit like a dinner for schmucks situation where the mess ups were something that they were doing sort of for fun, and we'd be called into the office, and all the executives would be sitting there drinking martinis, and they ask us our opinions on world politics and the economy, and everyone's laughing. It was a big deal, and other times you'd have to come in and they'd be holding back laughing and talking to me. Bob would be stern, but the other executives would be holding back laughter, and they'd be sort of saying like, Bob would be pretending to be mad and making me kiss the ring, but you can't use the call-in hour to call one of your ex-wives and argue over alimony for 30 minutes. So it was just a situation that I feel like maybe the mistakes were something that they were enjoying, but we've corrected those, and I think that we're just stars now. We've got a new operation, and I have never met the Disney executives now, but I think that we're really impressing with what we're doing nowadays.
Yeah, they'd always put us in those oversized tuxes. They're very boxy, but yeah, it's things are different now. I think they might regret laughing at us as we.
Yeah, I think it might be a shoe on the other foot situation.
Saudi money.
They're the schmucks now.
They never had Saudi money before.
Oh boy, no, they have not. So this is an interesting topic, and I'm sure we're going to be diving back into it as the season goes along.